My name is Priscilla R. Knight, and I was 30 years old when my parents kicked me out of Thanksgiving dinner and told me it was my fault. Thanksgiving is supposed to be about family, about gratitude, about sitting at a table where, no matter what's happened throughout the year, you belong. That's what I thought anyway. That night proved how wrong I was. I was halfway through dinner when my dad said it, fork in my hand. Food barely touched, the room warm, loud, filled with the usual background noise of plates clinking and my younger siblings talking over each other. Then his voice cut through everything. You have to leave. At first, I thought I misheard him. What? I looked up slowly. My mom avoided my eyes. My brother Ryan and my younger sister sat frozen, staring at their plates like if they didn't look at me, they wouldn't have to be part of it. But my dad? He didn't hesitate, didn't soften it, didn't even look uncomfortable. This is our thanks for your little support, he said, shaking his head like he was disappointed in me. I let out a short laugh, not because it was funny, because it didn't make sense. What the hell are you talking about? I asked. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, calm, controlled, like he had already rehearsed this moment. You're not pulling your weight, he said. Not pulling my weight. The words hit me like something physical. Because they weren't just wrong, they were insane. I had been living with them for a few months, yes, but I wasn't freeloading, not even close. I worked full time. I paid for groceries. Not just mine. Everyone's. I covered takeout when no one felt like cooking. I paid the internet bill so my siblings could do their schoolwork. I chipped in for gas, for car repairs, for whatever random thing my dad complained about that week. I never asked for recognition, never expected praise, but to be told I wasn't helping, that was something else. Are you serious right now? I said, my voice low. Not enough. My dad cut in immediately. You're an adult. You should be taking care of yourself. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about me living there. This was about the conversation we had a few days earlier. The one where they asked me to pay for a vacation. Not a small trip. Not something reasonable. A full luxury resort. Flights. Hotels. Everything. And not just contribute. Pay for it. All of it. At first, I thought they were joking. Then I realized they weren't. So I said no. And now? This was the consequence. I exhaled slowly. So this is about the vacation, I said. My mom's lips pressed together. Family supports each other, she said quietly. I laughed, not softly this time. Yeah? I said. And what exactly have you done to support me? My dad slammed his hand on the table. Enough. The room went silent. If you're not willing to help, he said, then you can leave. Simple as that. Simple. I looked around the table, at my siblings, at the people I had been helping. No one said a word. No one stood up. No one defended me. And in that moment, something inside me shifted. Not anger, not sadness. Clarity? Fine, I said. I stood up slowly. I'll go. Then I paused, looked back at them. And I'm done paying for everything. Silence. No more groceries. No more bills. No more helping out. My dad laughed. Actually laughed. Go ahead, loser, he said. See how long you last? I didn't respond. I just walked away. That night, I packed my things. It didn't take long. I had never really unpacked. Never really settled. Like part of me always knew this wasn't permanent. I found a cheap apartment in the next town over. Not great. Thin walls. Neighbors I could hear through the night. But it was mine. And for the first time in months, I wasn't carrying anyone else. A month passed. No calls, no texts, no messages. It was like I never existed. At first, I checked my phone constantly, waiting for something, anything. Then I stopped, because honestly, I was better off. until the night my phone rang, and my mom's name lit up the screen. I stared at it, confused. After everything, now they were calling? I almost ignored it, but something felt off, so I answered. Hello? There was a pause. Then her voice, softer than usual. Priscilla, we need your help. And just like that, everything changed. I hadn't heard their voices in a month. Not once. No. How are you? No. Did you land on your feet? No acknowledgement that I even existed after the night they threw me out like I was nothing, and now suddenly, they needed my help. Priscilla, we need your help. My mom's voice sounded different. Softer. Careful. Like she was trying to approach something fragile. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the wall. Let me guess, I said. Vacation plans didn't work out? She didn't respond. Not right away. It's Ryan. That made me sit up. What about him? There was a pause. Muffled voices in the background. My dad saying something I couldn't quite make out. Then, he lost $25,000. Everything inside me went still. He what? He gambled, she said quietly. I ran a hand over my face. Ryan? Gambling? That didn't even make sense. How the hell did he even get that kind of money? He borrowed it. That answer was worse. Much worse. Because people our age don't just borrow $25,000 from friends. Not casually. Not without consequences. From who? I asked. Silence. And in that silence, I understood. Not a bank. Not anything legal. Something else. Jesus Christ, I muttered. When does he have to pay it back? End of the week. I closed my eyes. And you have nothing? No, she admitted. We're maxed out. We don't even have next month's rent. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. A month ago, these people called me a loser, told me I wasn't pulling my weight, kicked me out like I was disposable. Now they were drowning and calling me to save them. It would have been so easy to hang up, to tell them this wasn't my problem, to remind them exactly what they said to me. But Ryan, he wasn't innocent, not even close. But he was still my brother. And if he owed that kind of money to the wrong people, this wasn't just about a lesson. This was dangerous. I exhaled slowly. I'm coming over. Relief flooded her voice instantly. Thank you, Priscilla. I didn't respond. I hung up, grabbed my keys, and walked out. The drive back felt different. The same roads, the same neighborhood. But everything felt off. Like I was stepping back into something I had already left behind. When I pulled into the driveway, I sat there for a second, hands still on the wheel, thinking. I could leave, turn around, drive back to my apartment. But I didn't. I got out, walked to the door. Before I could knock, it opened. My mom stood there. She looked exhausted. Priscilla, she exhaled. Come in. The house smelled the same. Cinnamon, cheap candles, familiar, but the energy? Completely different. Ryan was on the couch, hunched over, staring at the floor. My dad stood near the table, arms crossed, tense. No one spoke for a moment. Then I broke it. All right, I said. Someone tell me what the hell happened. Ryan didn't look up. My mom sat beside him, rubbing his back like he was a kid again. My dad answered instead. Your brother was an idiot. Ryan finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. I stared at him. How do you accidentally lose 25 grand? He let out a shaky breath. It started small, he said. A couple hundred. Then I won. So I kept going. Of course he did. And then I lost everything. I shook my head slowly. Okay, I said, but you didn't have 25 grand. So who gave it to you? Ryan hesitated. My dad answered. He took out a loan. Something in his tone made my stomach twist. What kind of loan? My mom spoke this time. Quiet, careful, not a bank. That was all I needed. I turned away, pressing my fingers to my temples. So, let me get this straight, I said. You borrowed money from people you can't pay back. And now you're all out of options. No one argued. Because there was nothing to argue. And you expect me to fix it. My mom reached for my hand. We need help. Need. That word again. I looked at Ryan. Really looked at him. He was pale, shaking slightly, eyes unfocused, scared. For the first time since I walked in, I felt something. Not anger. Responsibility. I exhaled sharply. I can cover some of it. My mom's shoulders dropped instantly. How much? My dad asked. 12,000, I said. That's all I have. It wasn't true, but it was enough. My mom grabbed my hand tightly. Thank you. I pulled away. This isn't a gift. I turned to Ryan. You're paying me back. Every cent. He nodded Quen Biten Gung Tinley. Meha? I didn't believe him, but that wasn't the point. I wired the money that night. $12,000. Gone. As I sat in my car afterward, engine off, hands resting on the wheel, I told myself I did the right thing. Not for them. For him. For my brother. And maybe, just maybe, this time, things would be different. I didn't know yet that this was just the beginning. For a week, I told myself I did the right thing. Every time I checked my bank account and saw that missing $12,000, I repeated it in my head like a mantra. You did the right thing. You helped your brother. You're better than them. At first, I waited. Not obsessively, but enough. A text. A call. Something. Nothing came. 2 weeks passed. Then 3. Still nothing. No update from Ryan. No, hey, I'm working on it. No attempt to send even $20. Just silence. That silence started to feel familiar. Tu familiar. It felt like the same silence after Thanksgiving. The same silence that told me exactly where I stood in their lives. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was figuring things out. Maybe he was working. Maybe he was embarrassed. But then one night I called. He picked up on the 4th ring. Hey, Priscilla. No urgency. No guilt. Just normal. Where's my money? I asked. There was a pause. I don't have it yet. I clenched my jaw. You said you'd pay me back. I will, he said quickly. I just need more time. More time? I repeated. It's been a month, Ryan. You haven't even sent me $50. Silence. Then I heard it. In the background. Video game sounds. I closed my eyes. You're not even trying, are you? I am, he snapped. Things have been hard. I let out a short, bitter laugh. Things are going to get a lot harder if you don't start paying me back. Silence again. I didn't wait. Figure it out, I said. And I hung up. I told myself that would push him, that he'd finally take it seriously. He didn't. Another week passed. Nothing. That's when I called my dad. If Ryan wasn't going to step up, maybe they would. After all, family supports each other. Right? He answered on the 2nd ring. What? No greeting. Straight to irritation. I need to talk to you about Ryan's debt, I said. He sighed loudly. What about it? He hasn't paid me anything. A pause. Then, so? I blinked. What do you mean, so? You gave him the money, my dad said. That was your choice. For a second, I thought I misheard him. It wasn't a gift, I said slowly. He laughed. Well, that's your problem. Something inside me snapped. Those were your exact words, I said. Family helps each other. You're an adult, he shot back. Handle your own problems. I felt the anger rise, sharp and fast. So when you need money, we're family, I said. But when I do, I'm on my own? That's life, he said dismissively. Don't like it? Too bad. I went quiet, because there it was. The truth. Clear. Simple. Final. They had never seen me as family. Just a resource. Got it, I said coldly, and I hung up. I sat there for a long time after that, phone still in my hand, trying to process how deep it went. And then something changed. Not emotionally, strategically. If they weren't going to respect me, then I wasn't going to protect them. I opened my laptop, logged into the accounts, the Wi-Fi, still under my name, the cable, also mine, streaming services, paid by me. They had never changed anything, never bothered, because they assumed I would always be there. I canceled everything. Internet. Gone. Cable. Cut. Streaming. Disabled. I leaned back in my chair and waited. It didn't take long. The next morning, my phone rang. Priscilla, my mom said, already annoyed. The internet's down. I kept my voice calm. That's weird. Can you fix it? She snapped. Your sister has schoolwork. We can't even watch TV. I smiled. I already know what happened. A pause. What? I canceled it. Silence. Then, you did what? I canceled everything, I said. Internet, cable, all of it. Why would you do that? She demanded. I leaned back. Because I was still paying for it. But your sister needs it. Then maybe you should pay for it yourself. I heard my dad in the background. What's going on? Priscilla canceled everything, my mom hissed. Good, he scoffed. We don't need her. I laughed. Let's see how long that lasts. He grabbed the phone. You little... I hung up. That should have been enough. It wasn't. A few days later, I came home from work, and something felt wrong. The door. Unlocked. I never left it unlocked. My stomach dropped as I pushed it open, and then I saw it. My apartment destroyed. Couch cushions thrown everywhere. Drawers ripped open. Clothes scattered across the floor. My laptop gone. My TV gone. I stood there, frozen, heart pounding. This wasn't random. This wasn't a break-in. I knew exactly who did it. My family. And just like that, everything changed. Because this wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was war. I didn't scream when I saw my apartment. I didn't panic. I just stood there, completely still, letting the reality settle in. Because deep down, I already knew. This wasn't random. This wasn't bad luck. This was personal. I walked slowly through the living room, every step deliberate, every detail burned into my mind. Cushions ripped apart, drawers hanging open, clothes thrown everywhere, like someone had gone out of their way to make it look worse than it needed to be. My laptop was gone. My TV too. They hadn't just broken in. They had taken things. I pulled out my phone, dialed the police. When the officer arrived, he took one look at the place and raised an eyebrow. Do you have any idea who might have done this? I didn't hesitate. My parents, I said. He paused. Family? I nodded. They kicked me out a month ago. We've had issues. I explained everything. The money, the debt, the Wi-Fi, the fallout. He wrote it all down, then looked back at me. Do you want to press charges? For a moment, I hesitated. Because this was the line, the one you don't cross, the one that turns family problems into something real. But then I thought about it. They broke into my home, stole from me, after everything I had done for them. And worse, they probably thought I wouldn't do anything, that I'd just take it, like I always had. I looked at the officer. Yes, I said, I do. The next day, everything moved fast. The police went to their house. I wasn't there, but I didn't need to be. My phone rang shortly after. My mom, I answered. What did you do? she snapped immediately. I leaned back in my chair. You broke into my apartment, I said. You stole my stuff. What did you expect? It wasn't a big deal, she shot back. You just what? I cut in. Taught me a lesson? Silence. Tell me something, I continued. Do you even feel bad? She didn't answer. Not really. You didn't have to call the cops, she said finally, her tone shifting. I laughed. So when I help you, I'm family, I said. But when you rob me, I'm supposed to let it slide. It wasn't robbery. The police disagree. She went quiet, then tried one last time. Priscilla, we can fix this. Just drop the charges. No. Her breath caught. What? I said no. Priscilla, this is serious. Your brother, I gave him $12,000. I snapped. And he still broke into my home. Silence. You're really going to do this to your own family? She whispered. I took a deep breath. No, I said. You did this to yourselves. And I hung up. The evidence was easy. Too easy. Pawn shop records, security footage. Ryan had sold my laptop and TV under his own name. That was enough. He was arrested, charged with burglary. My parents were charged too. Accomplices. No one saw that coming. Not even them. The real shift came when my grandparents found out. I don't know who told them. Maybe one of my aunts. Maybe someone at church. But when my grandfather called me, I could hear it in his voice. Anger. Real anger. Is it true? He asked. Did they steal from you? Yes. A long pause. Then quietly. They will regret this. I never saw what happened next. Not directly. But I saw the results. They cut my parents off. Completely. No more financial help. No more support. No more pretending everything was fine. And then they did something I didn't expect. They paid me back. Every single dollar. All 12,000. Not for my parents, not for Ryan, for me. Because you were the only one who acted with integrity, my grandfather said. That hit harder than anything else. Ryan sent me a message a few months later. A weak apology. Probably forced. I didn't respond. Because by then, I understood something I should have realized a long time ago. I had spent years trying to help people who would never help me. Trying to fix problems that were never mine to carry. Trying to be the one who held everything together while they took it apart. And I was done. Not angry, not bitter, just finished. I wasn't their safety net, not their backup plan, not their ATM. I was done being the person they only valued when they needed something. From that moment on, I chose myself. And for the first time in my life, that was enough.